Good
Good afternoon.
Y'all got questions? Y'all want me to just talk about these linebackers?
Coach, what's it been like through camp so far? And now that you guys have been tackling, how's your group kind of progressed?
Well, it's been so far. It's been a lot of fun. Because we felt like we had some experience last year with guys that were returning, had reps, and especially with TJ Quinn, and now we've got that same back again as a third-year guy. It's been really neat to see him moving some pieces around because. No matter what, and TJ's Quinn is an excellent example of a smart young man that knows the stuff, but you've done something for 3 years, you should be really good at it. And I feel like TJ has done a good job. I've noticed better than ever, and that was something he knew he needed to work on over the course of the last 2 years, but him being able to move and talk and communicate because now he feels so comfortable knowing what the other pieces, he hadn't just memorized, hey, here's what I do. Put this little round piece in that round hole, but he also knows what the other guys around him are doing. So I've seen him actually talking to the other linebackers, sometimes to the defensive line, sometimes to the pieces on the back end. So to have a guy like that come back with that much experience is huge. Stan Quan is coming back. Obviously, he wasn't with us in the spring, and we're glad he's back full steam ahead now. But, he's a third-year guy who got a lot of reps as a freshman, but was a full-time starter last year. So to have those two type of experienced pieces is huge. And then, TJ Capers, gotta get these last names right. TJ Capers is a guy that is also coming into his third year, and came in at first year basically was nursing an injury and working through that. Last year was really starting to come into his own and do a nice job. Then he had the hand injury. First third of the season, I can't remember, and that kind of slowed his progress down. But he still got a full season under his belt, had a great spring. So now he's a guy, in my opinion, that has not got the game experience of these other guys, but he's been in this defense and been doing some good things for 2 years, this being his third. And then, the other guy that came in, and he's just a very cerebral guy, smart guy, and a very athletic young man is Caleb Perry, who's transferred into us, but he got here in January. So that's the huge thing. He didn't get here in June or July or 2 days ago. He's been here since January. When you got a young man with that type of knowledge, or not really knowledge, but just mental prowess, he's going to be able to pick that stuff up quickly, and he has. And he's gotten a lot of reps from January until today. So, those four guys, I think, are going to compete on a day-to-day basis. They're going to work week to week to decide, who is going to get the nod as a starter. I think it would be really hard, barring something crazy, to remove TJ Quinn. He's really had a good camp on top of a good career, on top of a good 5 minutes ago, so he just keeps building on that. But it'll be competitive for everybody. Those four guys are going to really compete at it. I think they've done a good job so far.
You were here when you guys recruited TJ Quinn, but you weren't his position coach. But you've seen him since he kind of got on campus. How much has he changed as a just?
First of all, TJ, and I used to laugh because the safeties coach at the time was determined, I'm going to get some big safeties. Every time we talk about it, I said, you do realize he's a will linebacker. He's not a safety. And he was determined, we're going to get some big safeties. But no, TJ came in through the recruiting process as a safety, and then pretty quickly, that was a natural fit, and he came down. But TJ, you said how's he developed during that time?
And even just personality-wise, he's kind of come out of his shell a little bit, I think, this year.
Especially this year, he has. But no, it's been great to see. It's been great to be. I'm so fortunate to be. This is my 7th year here, so I've got to see a lot of these guys. Anybody's been here, I've got to see them. Nobody's been here more than 7 years, so I've got to see them develop. TJ would be one of those guys. Really neat to see him come in, and to me it is, man, what a pleasure to see guys that understand. Sometimes you do redshirt. It's not exactly what you might want to do, but sometimes you do, and then sometimes you work through periods of time where you're not the guy. And you keep going and you don't quit and you keep working, and then when your chance comes, you become so far a 2-year starter, and then that's not enough. I'm not going to be satisfied with that. Now I got to get better, and that's he and I met. We've done it every year that we've been together. What do you need to get about? And we talk about the communication piece, the leadership piece, and he wholeheartedly embraced that and has tried to be a better leader, and with great effort he has done so, and then a great communicator. So to see him come from what was going to be a big safety to the one of the leader of our defense has been tremendously fun and very encouraging. you'd like to see more people do that. And it is also nice because you've got those other pieces I mentioned that have stayed. I mean, in this day and age, it is rare to have guys been here 5, and the other 2 guys that I mentioned in those top 4 guys, they've been here 3. So it's really nice. And then again, we're excited. You know, Caleb came to us. He's really a local kid. He's from about an hour and a half from here. So it's nice to have him and his family incorporated all in this as well.
Mark,
Going off of that, just the patience piece, obviously, like you said, is not really a super common.
No, it's not common at all.
What's your, I guess, pitch to guys, or how do you get them to stay and commit to that developmental process?
Well, to me, whenever I get a chance to talk to them, and like anybody else, sometimes people talk to me. My wife talks to me a lot. I don't always listen. People don't always listen to what you're saying, you know. But when I talk to these guys, I try to truly let them understand, man, these guys, it is really hard to jump around and be able to just pick something up quickly. Especially some of these guys that show up in like a June or July. How do you learn the whole defense? I mean, we've been installing a lot of stuff. But a guy that's been here for a full year, 2, 3, you know, Quinn who's been here 5 and he's been in the same defense for 3, it's a whole different story. You know, you could see him back in January communicating and saying doing things. So having the patience to understand that if I do stick with something, you know, eventually I'm gonna, if I sow it and I work it, eventually I'm gonna reap a harvest, you know, at some point in time. Now, of course, you gotta have some talent, some ability, and these guys do. So that, I think it's unique that people do have that patience, are willing to work and are willing to wait at sometimes, but then it's awesome when the rewards come and they do get to play. Now, it's not like he just stepped into this, he's getting ready to be a 3rd-year starter. You know, and you talk about Quan, he's going to be a 2nd-year starter. And with Cape, some of those injuries have hampered him, but he's getting ready to be a great player due to persistence and sticking around and being where you're supposed to be.
Is this defense this year at this point ahead of the defense last year at this point? It seems like the way you're talking, I know it's hard to imagine that, but the way you're talking, this defense is solid.
Well, I think we had some great pieces in this defense last year. Obviously, I've been sitting around watching highlights. I don't really have time to watch the games, but I see guys like Quincy and guys like Ashton and guys out there making plays. We had some really good players here that did some great things at times, no doubt about it. But if you're asking that question, I mean, I do feel like some of the stuff, and the linebackers should lead the defense, and I think right now we're in the best position to do that since I've been here. And so I do feel like we have an opportunity. Now, whether we take advantage of that or not, I can't tell you. I mean, we've only seen red and white jerseys so far. It'd be nice to see some other colors and figure that out as we go. But if they stay focused and locked, I think we'll have a chance to do exactly that, to be a dominant defense. You know, and I hear Coach Brown say it every day. When we're lined up and know what to do, and that's just a matter of studying and being locked in, man, we're as good as anybody around. And having some guys in the middle that have that knowledge is going to help us do that, I do believe, yes.
Mark, there were some times at one point last year where the linebacking core was a little bit hit or miss when it came to pass coverage. Have you seen this unit improve in this regard over the course of both spring ball and fall camp?
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, but but it is true. No, and that's one of the things we harped on. There were lots of times where we didn't get enough depth. You know, we're playing shallow. You know, one of the things that they've bought into, and it has nothing to do with what they want to do. They've decided, hey, we're not going to buy on every little flash fake. We would be up there in the line of scrimmage, and we bid on everything that was to bite on. So we worked very hard to make sure that we're actually using our eyes, you know, and being smart enough to recognize run and pass and help out. Because if we don't do that, then our safeties are going to have to do things that they shouldn't have to do. And now the job that they're doing gets relented to the end zone. You know, it gets turned over to the end zone. So that, you know, we were hurting them at times. Because we didn't get the proper depth, we didn't get our proper coverage and use our eyes to discern between run or pass. I think we've gotten a lot better at that. Now, we won't know until live bullets start showing, but out here, I can tell you that we're doing a much better job. And I'll tell you this, if anybody's going to test you on it, it's going to be Coach Brom and the things he does on offense. He is going to find out if the things we said we're going to get better at, we did. So he continues to check those boxes, and I think our guys haven't been perfect at it, but have gotten way better at being able to choose between run and pass, and then help coverage-wise with the calls that are being made.
And while Stanton Clark hasn't had as many reps as you'd like because of that shoulder injury this offseason, how have you seen him grow and develop when you have seen him out there coming off of that breakout sophomore year?
Well, Quan is 100% now. There's nothing holding him back. You know, we did kind of take our time making sure. You know, he didn't do anything in the spring, but he's good now. You know, so, and we've seen that because we do all our contact drills during individual. full live tackling, anything we got going, we're good to go. But no, I mean, it would have been great had he been out there in the spring, but he was able to step in the summer and do all the stuff with us there. And then, now he's just rotating back through. But one of the things we're harping on is I want all those guys to work with each other, the 4 that we've mentioned. Now, we got some great young guys in Matalau and White and Trent Carter. But those 4, especially up front, I'm trying to make sure we intermingle. I want each one of them to work with each other. We got 2 of them that are playing Mike and Will, which gives us some options to be able to have Quinn and Perry that could do either or, which gives us, the ability to have different tools in our tool belt. So, but no, Quan's done a good job coming back. I think like anybody else, I'm talking about TJ, his development, things like that. Quan is now at the point where, he's going to come out and give you a good day and have some consistency every day, which is what you got to have when you've got that type of talent, that type of ability. So if we get that every day, those 4 guys are going to really show up. Now you got to stay healthy. We'd like for all 4 of them to stay healthy, and having 4 bodies that can do it and minds that can do it allows you to hopefully not bang any one person up to the point where they're limping out in week 12.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.